Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans in 1977. It's Friday night, and you know what that means. It's time for the SmackDown Event Center Wrestling Report. And now, here's your host of the Event Center Wrestling Reports of SmackDown, now a 3-hour show on the USA Network, Mr. Eric M. Lima.
Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Well, hello there, everyone. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans, 1977, episode 2014. The year 2014. I'll never forget that year. Cheapest. That's 11 years ago. Was it this month in February back in 2014? Every weekend we've been blasted with snow. And it got to the point where for two separate occasions, this month alone, back in 2014, I ended up sleeping over at the mall. I'm not kidding you. And it's that bad, you know. And it's that bad that nobody wants, you know. It's that bad, and I did not want to sleep over at the mall. I mean, but thankfully the mall management put the kibosh on that. Also, the Super Bowl in 2014, where the Seattle Seahawks beat the you-know-what out of the Denver Broncos, 43-8. That was like a lopsided score, dude. All right, and then you got, you know, let's see, you have also the Los Angeles Kings beating the New York Rangers to win the Stanley Cup, their second championship. The Spurs beat the Heat to get their fifth in the NBA title. And let's see where we're going here. San Francisco beat the Kansas City Royals in 7 games, to claim their 8th world title. And let's see if there's any. I know there's some celebrity deaths, so I'm going to try to look those up before I'm going to try to kill some time here, if you guys don't mind, you know. There we go. And you had, you know, you have a lot, you know, a lot of celebrity deaths. Robin Williams, comic legend, played Mork and Mindy, the genie in Aladdin, all sorts of, you know, hit movies that he starred in, you know, and, you know, a lot of legends died that year. Joan Rivers, James Garner, Rockford Files, Bob Hoskins, who played Eddie Valiant and Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Harold Ramis, Laura Bacall, who else? Wow, Shirley Temple passed away. Ann B. Davis, Casey Kasem, Eli Wallach. Let's see who else we lost that year. Let's see. Oh, jeez. Let's see who else. Let's see. Let's see who else. Let's see, Harold Ramis, I mentioned him already. You know, Sid Caesar, Shirley Temple, that's an acting legend. Mickey Rooney was another one. I mentioned Bob Hoskins. Let's see, Ann B. Davis, who played Alice, well known. Casey Kasem. Meshack Taylor from Designing Women. Let's see who else. James Garner of Rockford Files. Maverick. Let's see. Jimmy Jameson, who the frontman for Survivor. Russell Johnson played the professor on Gilligan's Island. Let's see. Who else? Richard Keel, who played who played a villain on 007 James Bond, and also played Happy Gilmore's former boss on Happy Gilmore. You can count on me meeting you in the parking lot. Well, he's probably going to meet a lot of people in the parking lot. Jim Henson's son John passed away as well. What is he? John Panette, and the Ultimate Warrior passed away as well in 2014. Edward Herman also passed away. Okay, I'm gonna find out when did Jim Lang die. I had a feeling. And yep, Jim Lang also died. Jim Lang did some game shows as well. Bullseye was one of my favorite game shows he hosted. If not my all-time favorite game show host, game show of all time. Bullseye. So, a lot of things happened in 2014, and also, before we get going on SmackDown, there's some WWE releases we have to let out. Cedric Alexander was the first one to be released by the WWE. Paul Ellering and the Authors of Pain were next. It's kind of a shame with the Authors of Pain because they would have had a feud with the War Raiders. That would have been a great feud right there with if you want some gold. So, with Paul Ellering and AOP gone, that lady's carrying Cross and Scarlet. Will they form a new Final Testament, or are they going to go off on their own? Who knows for sure. On the ladies' side, Blair Davenport has been released, as well as Sonya Deville, which is a shocker. I thought they had something with the Pure Fusion collection, now that Sonya Deville is gone, will Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler continue being under that name, or will they go under a different name, or will they add somebody else to the group? And who would they add? We think Lola Vice would be great for the group, being a former MMA mixed martial artist, or, and have a storyline within that group. Who knows for sure? So, very, very sorry to hear about all those releases. And a lot of people say, where did Cedric Alexander go? They want to go to, they said, he should go to AEW to reunite with Shelton Benjamin as part of the Hurt Syndicate. They say, how AEW treated his wife that was there, MJ Jenkins, and they said he probably wouldn't go there. Probably, reunite with Ricochet, maybe, there. Or he can go to TNA and join up with Mustafa Ali. Who knows for sure. And whatever happens after 90 days, we'll find out for sure. Sonya Deville, who knows what will happen after 90 days as well. Authors of Pain, they'll end up somewhere. Along with Paul Ellering, they'll end up somewhere. If they can, I know TNA needs more tag teams, So there's that. So, So hopefully, best of luck to those who've been released by the WWE. We'll see what happens in the long run. I mean, the shocker was Sonya Deville because she was at the Royal Rumble. So there's that. Jey Uso kicked. We also have some huge news that Alexa Bliss is on SmackDown. So is Katana Chance and Kaden Carter. They decided on with SmackDown too. So there's that. And Roxanne Perez is now moving to the Raw roster, where she will have an Elimination Chamber qualifying matchup against. Let's see. I'm going to try to look that up. Let's see. Let's see. Let's see what I gotta look up. Let's see. I'm gonna look up Roxanne Perez, because Roxanne Perez. Who is she facing? Let's see. So that means Julia will retain the title. Oh, Raquel Rodriguez. Oh boy, that's gonna be a fun matchup. Roxanne Perez versus Raquel Rodriguez. If I were Roxanne Perez, I would keep that attitude. Again, especially against someone like Roxanne Perez. So that's against someone like Raquel Rodriguez. So there's that. And that could continue her feud with Bayley on Monday Night Raw as well. So that's something to look out for. The Royal Rumble, as you know, this is the Royal Rumble Part 3 of what happened. Jey Uso kicked off SmackDown, everybody yeeting in Memphis, having a good time. And he introduces Cody Rhodes. They were talking about WrestleMania. We did Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga interrupts Rhodes and Uso, all four-man brawl. But then Rhodes and Jey Uso stood tall. During the commercial break, Nick Aldis said, hey, we're making this thing a tag team matchup. Tama Tonga and Jacob Fatu against WWE champ Cody Rhodes and Royal Rumble winner Jey Uso. And then you got the first women's Elimination Chamber qualifier, Bianca Belair versus Piper Niven. And Belair ended up winning that matchup. Meanwhile, Nick Aldis was talking to Kamala Hayes about facing his next challenger. Kamala Hayes, I'm not doing this again. Akira Tozawa walked in. He said, I'm going to tell you immediately you're going to have a match against Akira Tozawa, what you did to him at the Royal Rumble. I'm giving him that opportunity. And then DIY addresses the Memphis crowd, gloating that they still retain the tag team titles. And then Pretty Deadly comes out and starts trashing DIY. And I was like, good. It's about time that Pretty Deadly stands up for themselves. And then Nick Aldis goes, you know what? I got a matchup. We're going to have this match right now. You beat them, you get yourself a shot at the belts. And they had their matchup, and Pretty Deadly and DIY was in their street clothes. But Pretty Deadly took advantage of the fact that DIY was not prepared. DIY tried to cheat with pulling the tights. But then Pretty Deadly did some cheating on their own, holding on the ropes and make the 3 count. Pretty Deadly won the matchup. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. What goes around comes around. You reap what you sow, DIY. And now, if you like DIY, winning the matchup over, if you like Pretty Deadly winning the matchup with DIY, give me a yes, boy. All right, that's how I feel. And then the Miz and Andrade were talking to Miz, wanted the team with Andrade again. Andrade's like, I understand, I'm good. And then Cody Rhodes approaches the Miz, and then the Miz was talking, trying to pitch himself. Cody Rhodes, cool, you do your thing. And then another triple threat for the men's Elimination Chamber qualifying match, Drew McIntyre, Jimmy Uso, and LA Knight. Drew McIntyre was the first one to address the Memphis crowd before the matchup, and then Jimmy Uso interrupts Drew McIntyre, and LA Knight interrupts both gentlemen. And LA Knight said something about, stop to say an emotion. Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with showing emotion, crying. It's good for the mental health. And God respect LA Knight for saying that, because LA Knight you know, LA Knight must know something in the background. Probably the releases could be the reason why that were happening, and I'm sure. And, you know, like I said, it's been really tough. So, you know, an LA Knight, you know, very cool guy. And then he starts trashing Drew McIntyre, calling him Drew McIntyre and all that. So, and so they had the matchup, and Drew McIntyre ended up winning, so he could stop whining. So, Braun Strowman talked to Damian Priest about the Elimination Chamber qual, and this is a big match for the Elimination Chamber qualifier next week. It'll be Damian Priest versus Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. Those three guys are going to beat the you-know-what out of each other. It's going to be nuts in that ring. Let me tell you. Kevin Owens addressed to Sami Zayn. He said, "You're going to pay for it. Didn't you make him pay already by pile driving his butt? You dummy." So, Akira Tozawa went one-on-one with Carmelo Hayes. And what's funny was Akira Tozawa, he said, "Airball." I'm going to tell you about airballs, but it seemed like Carmelo Hayes did not throw an airball. He beat Akira Tozawa one-on-one, as Carmelo Hayes addresses Tozawa before the matchup. In attendance, WWE Hall of Famer Jerry King Lawler, who had a beard the last time we saw him, but now completely shaved it. It's in Memphis. He was in attendance, and people gave him an ovation, started chanting Jerry. And R-Truth was helping Tozawa, consoling him in the back. And then all of a sudden he goes, "Jey Uso, yeah, I knew you were a king, but now you're a king in the ring." "No, I won the Royal Rumble." You better, "Oh yeah, he yeeted all over himself." And then Cody Rhodes goes, "What do you think about WrestleMania?" "You know, I've always wanted to face you, but I got a personal beef with Gunther, and I want to beat him too. But it's going to be a tough decision to make." So, and then Charlotte Flair addresses the Memphis crowd, and then she said, "I went to Raw to see what Rhea Ripley thinks, and I went to NXT to see what Julia thinks, and then she wanted to see what Tiffany Stratton thinks." Tiffany Stratton comes out and interrupts her, and says, "You know what, people, you know, I've been a fan of yours, and, you know, you're talking about next Charlotte Flair. Please pick me. And when I saw Rhea, I saw a kid. When I saw you as a child." And she was about to say something until Nia Jax and Candice LeRae interrupt her. Nia Jax says, "We got a rematch next week for the SmackDown Women's for the WWE Women's Championship." And then Charlotte Flair goes, "This is going to be interesting. I think I'll stick around for this to see this matchup and see how it goes." And then Alexa Bliss interrupts all four ladies. Alexa Bliss and Candice LeRae had their Elimination Chamber qualifying matchup. And in the end, Alexa Bliss ended up winning the matchup. And then Byron Saxton interviews Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, but then Michin and B-Fab came up. And he says, and Michin says, "Hey, I'm still going after that title. You better watch your step." And then Zelina Vega came around and says that she's thinking about challenging Chelsea Green for the championship. Oh boy, this is going to be crazy. Let's see, what else? Okay. And then the Street Profits explained their actions to the Royal Rumble, and Byron Saxton interviewed the Machine Guns to respond to that. But then Legado Fantasma interrupts them and say, "Hey, listen, we're going to settle it, and then we're going to settle it after what..." And Motor City Machine Guns still not very happy with what Los Garza did last week. So we'll see what happens by walking out, and I'm going to see how that goes. Priest, Strowman, and Fatu addressing next week's matchup, and then the main event: Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso against Jacob Fatu and Tama Tonga. Rhodes and Uso won the matchup, but then a hooded figure blindsided Cody Rhodes with a Samoan spike. Solo Sikoa is back, and he's not in a good mood. So that is all the time we have on this episode, 2014, of Eric Lima Shenanigans in 1977. Stark reminder, tomorrow we got Card Sharks, and I have tomorrow off. So you know I have every Saturday off. And rumor has it, then there's a report of a big winter storm happening tomorrow night. Late tomorrow night into Sunday morning. 5 to 8 inches worth of snow. I think that's the... they will be bouncing back between 3 and 5 and 5 and 8. And 3 to 5 inches or 5 to 8 inches. They don't know. Who knows? Snow could end up being nothing. I don't know. Well, we don't know if we're going to have church service Sunday morning or not. And if that's the case, I will go. I will go with my parents. I don't need to drive. I don't need to worry about nothing. So, because one, I'm working on the inside now. I don't worry about the outside no more. And not only that, they got people working on the outside. So thank you for tuning in for another episode of the show. And I will see you on that next episode. And until that next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home.
That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, do it for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with a Raven Beaufort Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.